Hey you guys, it's Peter, and welcome to my channel, Peterisms, where I tell stories of my life and just little things that I've learned as I've grown into the person that I am today. Or I guess the person that I hope to be, one of these days. And I have only 3 meditation books with me today. I am going to start the day off with a daily book of positive quotations, because I just love to start the day on a positive note. And then I'm going to either read from The Language of Letting Go or Journey to the Heart, both by Melody Beatty. I was on the phone earlier talking to my sponsor, and we were talking about Melody Beatty and Codependent No More, and how much those books have helped us and how fantastic they are. And we were specifically talking about The Language of Letting Go. And I did so many meditation videos last year on these 2 books that I've kind of tried to stay away from them. But I read them in the mornings, but not every morning. And so I was like, I'm going to kind of start bringing these back into some of my videos. And maybe my opinions even changed in the last year. So I'm going to maybe read one of those, and we'll see what it speaks to us. We'll see what the universe has to say to us today. All right, April 13th. In the Daily Book of Positive Quotations by Linda Picone, our good Judy. Let's see, that was 2 days ago. Okay, April 13th, New Landscapes. The real voyage of discovery consists not in seeking new landscapes, but in having new eyes. Marcel Proust. When we're on vacation, we have a heightened interest in everything around us. Our eyes are wide open. We try new things and visit new places. We are upbeat and optimistic. At home, we take many things for granted. Habit blinds us to discoveries that lie right before our eyes. We may never visit attractions that outsiders travel miles to see. We miss out on all sorts of opportunities because we're simply not looking for them. For fun, I will pretend to be a tourist in my own town. What would someone visiting for the first time see that I take for granted? You know, I think I did do this actual meditation a year ago, which is strange because I kind of remember talking about it. But I want to talk about it in a different way. And actually, this is interesting because it, yet again, sings to the conversation that I was having with my sponsor earlier. We were talking about, you know, since we're at home and we can't leave and go anywhere, it's making us really, really appreciate what we do have at home and just like the small world that we have around us, you know? And she and I were talking about how, when all this is said and done, if it's all said and done, and we can go back out and, you know, go around the world again, will it change our opinion and will it change our, the way that we look at the world? You know, that right now we're so appreciative of just like having certain foods at home or having food at home at all, or, you know, being able to like, you know, pay our mortgage or rent if we can and having a roof over our heads. And those, you know, basic things right now that we took for granted months ago, you know, are things, and I know, listen, as I say this, I know there are a lot of people out there that are really, really struggling to pay their mortgage and their bills, and there's people out there that are struggling, you know, to make ends meet. I think we, like everybody else, is struggling with financial insecurity right now and fear. I think the whole world is under financial fear. But I think that does, again, reduce us down to, well, what are our needs and what are our desires? What are those things that we feel so blessed to have? I have people that reach out to me on an almost daily basis that are like, oh, I'm staying with my parents, or I'm staying with my grandparents, or my mom moved in with me, or, you know, like I had to move in with my brother or my sister, you know, blah, blah, blah. Because we're trying to be together as a family, and it's always interesting because at some point they'll always say something like, they're kind of driving me crazy, you know, and it's like all funny and it's all in jest, you know. I think one of the ways that we're all getting through this is complaining about being bored, you know, and it doesn't mean that you don't take it seriously. We've all said, oh, I'm so bored or whatever, right? I've actually talked about this on my vlog, because in reality, I'm really not that bored. Like, I have tons of things to do, you know what I mean? But then I'll just sit there and I'll be like, I don't know what my life would look like. I'd probably go to Starbucks and get my coffee, and here I have my Starbucks water right here, you know, and drive around and buy things I don't need, I guess, and go out to dinner places I don't need to go. Not that I do miss those things, you know. But what's funny is that people will end up complaining about like their families that they're with and stuff, and that would totally be me. My cousin and I yesterday having this conversation, and it had never really occurred to me. You know, I've thought a lot about how my mom would handle this whole situation, and she was somebody that was full of fear, but also like weirdly obsessed with watching the news. She watched like CNN and stuff all the time. So I know that she would be like sitting over here like on her couch, like not moving from the TV, watching the news, but at the same time, you know, like my aunt would want to bring like chili by or something, you know, if they were all still alive, and she'd say, okay, fine, but you have to leave at the end of the driveway. You can't come up, you know, and my mom would be like panicky about everything. And my cousin said to me yesterday, she said, you would have had to have moved in with your mom. She was like, or she would have had to have moved in with you. And that had never occurred to me before. I was like, I would have. Like, she literally could not have lived by herself. She never had a computer. She wouldn't have been able to figure out how to get stuff delivered to her house. I would have had to got her groceries for her and everything, you know? So, yeah, you look at perspective like that, and then I was sitting there thinking, like, in all honesty, oh, thank God I didn't have to move in with my mom, you know? Like, I love my mom, I miss my mom, but would I want to live with her in a small space? No, and I'm very grateful for that today, you know? Like, I miss her like crazy, but, you know, this is a situation that I can't even really fathom what that would be like, you know? And Caroline and I were just, like, laughing about, like, how our moms would be through all of this. But I think that, you know, it's also gratitude in that, hey, you have a place to go to, you know what I mean? Or you have somebody. And I think I would, like, look at that, and I think at least, you know, if that were the case today, at least my mom would welcome me into her place with open arms, you know? And I think it's about being grateful for that, about being grateful for the small things that you have, and, you know, and I realized how little I really do need. I mean, if I have learned anything through all of this, I've really learned how little I need, you know, in the grand scheme of things. I miss going on vacations. I miss staying in hotel rooms. I miss going out to dinner. I miss being with my friends. I miss all of that. But I'm surviving, and most of us are, I think. Most of us are getting through it, and we will get through it, and we can get through this. I'm losing my voice. This is my 4th video in a row I've made. And I think it's about holding on to hope, you know, and also realizing, seeing your place with new perspective, seeing your place with new eyes, and saying, you know, what do I have right here that I can be happy with, you know? Just for example, this is a stupid example, but whatever. I searched everywhere trying to find a Yahtzee game when I knew that we were going to be, like, having to stay at home. And I went down in the basement yesterday, and on these, like, bookshelves that we have up against the wall, we have Apples to Apples and a Yahtzee game. And I was like, I didn't even need to buy a Yahtzee game. But I didn't even know that was down there because I don't even look around my own stuff, you know? So anyway, yeah. Let me know what you think about that meditation, and let's get into a little melody baity. I'm going to try to read from the language of letting go. Yesterday, I think it was about, or the other day, it was about financial insecurity, or financial something. Hold on a second, I'll tell you what it, financial goals. But today we're going to read it. It says, enjoyment, April 13th. Enjoyment. One of the prohibitions many of us learned in childhood is the unspoken rule, don't have fun and enjoy life. This rule creates martyrs, people who will not let themselves embrace the pleasures of day-to-day living. Many of us associated suffering with some sort of sainthood. Now we associate it with codependency. We can go through the day making ourselves feel anxious, guilty, miserable, and deprived, or we can allow ourselves to go through that same day feeling good. In recovery, we eventually learn the choice is ours. There is much to be enjoyed each day, and it is okay to feel good. We can let ourselves enjoy our tasks. We can learn to relax without guilt. We can even learn to have fun. Work at learning to have fun. Apply yourself with dedication to learning enjoyment. Work as hard at learning to have fun as you did at feeling miserable. Our work will pay off. Fun will become fun. Life will become worth living. And each day we'll find many pleasures to be enjoyed. Today, I will let myself enjoy life as I go through my day. You know, I was talking about this in my vlog as well the other day, that I really struggle with complacency. I really struggle with just, like, laziness and just sitting and not doing so. I always have, like, lists that I'm made and whatever. That doesn't mean that I'm the most productive person in the world, okay? But I am a multitasker, and, like, so when I'm here throughout the day, you know, like, or my old regimen would be, like, I would get up and I would go get coffee and I would run all these errands. I don't know. I don't even know now what I did back in the day, but I would run all these errands, and then I would come home and I would start making videos, and I would have a video uploaded, and then I'd be like, oh, I have this idea for a book I want to write, and I'd be writing that down, and I'd be cleaning the kitchen in between, you know, posting videos, and it's just like, kind of like this certain, like, mania to, like, be productive, that at the end of the day, I could look back and I'd be like, oh, wow, you got a lot done today, you know? And then I was always kind of like, I would say, gently resentful, because it wasn't a huge resentment, you know, at, like, my best friend and my husband, because my best friend, I'll call her and I'll be like, hey, well, it's Tanya, and I'll be like, what are you doing? And she's like, oh, well, you know, like, I decided just to take a day, and I'm just, like, sitting here and I'm, like, you know, catching up on all the Real Housewives, and I, like, read half of a book, and I'm like, how do you just be? Like, how are you just present and just doing nothing, you know? And then, like, and my one thing is I do nap. I nap for long periods of time. But then, like, my husband, like, on a Sunday, you know, after brunch or whatever, I'll be making videos or whatever, and he'll lay in bed and, like, watch, like, 6 hours of, like, Schitt's Creek or something, you know? And I'm like, how do you do that? Like, I don't even know that I could do that. Well, because we really have nowhere to go, I have started to practice that. And like being in my car, like I'll vlog after, you know, for at night from the driveway. And then when I'm done, I'll sit there and I'll play Words with Friends for like an hour and a half, 2 hours and listen to my audiobook. And I'm like whipping through audiobooks and it's so nice. And then I come inside and I watch a couple episodes of a show and I watch throughout the day. And I'm watching a lot of TV and it's really nice. Like, I know it sounds corny and I've said this on here before, but one of my goals for 2020 was to listen to more audiobooks, read more books, and watch more TV shows and movies because I really wanted to practice just being able to be present and relax and enjoy life, like, and have fun, you know, and enjoy life. And I don't allow myself to do that at times. And it's stupid. And I've had so many people in my life say to me, you know, like, why don't you just like sit there and just like, you need to just like watch TV for a while or something, you know, like you don't always have to be doing something and coming up with the next idea or whatever, you know? I don't know. I feel like if I'm actually like putting effort into doing something, that means I'm productive, but 9 times out of 10, I'm not producing anything anyway. So what's the point? I might as well be sitting there and enjoying a show. And I do think that, you know, life is about being happy. I actually watched this interview. It was a fantastic interview that Oprah did with RuPaul. And she asks him on there something to the effect of, like, what do you think the meaning of life is? And he said, the meaning to life is to, you should watch it yourself because I'm totally misquoting this whole thing, but the general idea was that the meaning of life is to treat people right, to do good deeds, to put good out there in the world, to contribute to the world positively, and then just to have fun and enjoy life. And I think so many of, you know, us forget that we're supposed to be having fun. Like, I know so many people in my life that are martyrs, and I think I was that at one point. Like, you know, like, oh, let me tell you how hard I work. Let me tell you how hard I have it. Let me tell you how hard and it doesn't matter, right? Okay, fine. But, you know, you're the one missing out. You deserve to be enjoying life too. I don't know that the world needs more martyrs. I think the world needs a little bit more fun and peace. At least that's what I see from my perspective. So anyway, let me know what you think in the comment section below. I hope you guys are staying safe and healthy. I love you guys, and staying sane as well is important, right? Our sanity intact is important at the end of all of this. And go have some fun today. I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.